for some reason. I don't know why, but it won't let me stream it. So, stream connection not stable. I'm back though. Here we go. Now it's on them. We're live again, but we lost people now. Because it crashed for no reason. With zero warning at all. Can I stream with YouTube? Can I stream my stream? Can I stream my stream? Hey! Should be an infinite loop, right? Hey! Should be an infinite loop, right? Hey. Should be an infinite loop, right? The screen's getting so small. Screen, come back. Screen, come back. Screen. The screen's getting so small. Screen, come back. Screen, come back. Screen. Okay, I'm sorry. It's probably all sorts of weirded out. I'll stop. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, I'm sorry. It's probably all sorts of weirded out. I'll stop. I'm sorry. Back to chess. Looking for something specific?
No, honestly, I'm just kind of looking at what's cheap.
You want cheap, good wine? It's at the front of the store. You already passed it. You ran right past it and didn't even look at it.
Did I really?
Yep.
I just need something to cook with. That's all.
Imported Italian wine.
How much is it?
It's on sale for the holidays, so it's $10 off.
Two regular.
Still waiting on them to make their move. ID?
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
You too.
These games are not going how I thought they would. I got him doing little stuff to do with my queen, which is good, because now they're all out of position. What are we gonna do here, guys? The hope is that he takes my pawn, then I take his pawn. He takes my knight with his pawn, then I take his pawn. Then I take his pawn there. And he should lose, because all he has left is his bishop and his 2 rooks. So I go there. If he doesn't, I can go here, and then he's in check. Then he has to move, and if he moves here, then I go there. Then he's in check. Then he has to move here, and if he moves here, I move here. Wait, no, he can't. You know, he loses. Wait a second. Wait, is this checkmate? Wait a second, hold on. Wait a second. He has no way of putting me in check, because his bishop can only go on gray squares. His rooks are trapped behind his pawns. So even if he takes this and I go here, when I go there, I think he loses no matter what. I think they lose no matter what. I think no matter what they do, let's see. Yeah, because there's no way for them to get my queen or my king because they're on this square. Wait a second. We actually... Oh my god. We won. Woo! It's weird though. What can I record? I can record YouTube, but can I record Hulu? Am I allowed to record Hulu? I don't think I'm allowed to live stream Hulu. Huh. Yeah, so, oh, you're back. Okay, so Bloons doesn't work for whatever reason. It just keeps closing out the app. We're waiting on chess still. We can just watch YouTube videos and just laugh about them. I mean, that's always fun. Everyone likes watching YouTube videos. So what we got? Let's see. You gonna watch some game theory? Wait, there's a chat. You can talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Wait, if you're on the app, you can't talk to me though. Wait a second. If you're on YouTube, you can't talk to me. Because I have to be in the live chat. You can talk in the live chat though. Because I have to be in the live chat. Oh wait, what? Oh, so apparently if I send talk in the live chat though. A message on Omlet, it ends up in my chat. Okay, that's cool. I'm gonna stop hurting your ears now. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Always appreciate it when people like and subscribe. Oh right, I can watch it because I'm not on that account right now. That's why I can watch it. Okay. Why don't we learn some things? Let's watch some game theory. Game theory. I don't watch the whole video. I wanna go here.
One of the rare opportunities I have to answer some of your biggest questions about earlier parts of the theory, which is pretty exciting actually. So last time we talked about how the mysterious Darkner world that Chris and Susie explored during the most inefficient quest to find chalk ever is all just... Remember, Toby Fox is coming off of Let's cut to the chase. Deltarune is the prequel to Undertale, just not the way you think it is.
Here we go. This is game theory. Yeah, he's a smart guy. I wonder who's watching. You watching? You can talk to me. Say I can chat. Type in here in the chat. Let me know. You know. Let me know what's going on with you. You know. I care about my people.
No, Lancer is gonna be Lucas. I mean, the hair is a perfect match, and the letters in both names are identical, provided you swap out 2, add 1, and mix them all up. Theory confirmed. And now that we've definitely proven that connection beyond a shadow of a doubt, a few quick announcements. First, holiday theory wear is still available. So if you like soft, cozy, oversized things with hoods and in the color black, well, boy howdy, did we create something for you. Hats, coats, sweater dresses, PJ pants, check them out. Link is in the description. And if you order in the next couple weeks, you'll get it in time for Christmas. You know the drill. But don't wait too long because a lot of the items are selling out.
Oh, here comes customers.
In other, quite frankly, more important news, you may remember that earlier
looking for something specific.
We lost our longest running team member, Ronnie, to suicide. In his honor, on Monday, November 26th,
just small, like this small,
live stream to raise money for the
this
Brain
small
Behavior Research Fund, which funds scientific research that is actively looking for better treatments and potential cures for mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and bipolar disorder. It is a fantastic cause, and obviously one that hits close to home for the Theorist family, so if you have the time to join us and potentially donate, we would be so incredibly grateful. We have a ton of special guests coming from all different corners of YouTube to be a part of this thing, so it should be a long day full of a lot of fun, all for a cause that could benefit a lot of theorists out there. So please mark it down in your calendars. November 26th, starting here
it's an old video.
channel
That's already
at
happened.
Pacific time, running for at least 6 hours, all for an amazing cause. Alright, updates out of the way, let's figure out what's really going on in this game. In case you missed it, Deltarune came out of nowhere. One day, the Undertale Twitter account just started randomly going off about new futures and connections, and then all of a sudden, here's a link to a sketch-tastic website that totally doesn't look like it's a virus waiting to happen. But after malware checking the file twice, you load it up and lo and behold, it's all our favorite faces from 3 years ago. Alphys, Toriel, Asgore, Undyne, all on the surface. It's gotta be a continuation of Undertale, right? Well, not quite. You see, it quickly becomes apparent there's something more than a sequel here. No one knows each other. Undyne has never heard of Alphys and has both her eyes. Asgore isn't a king, he's the owner of a flower shop. Asriel isn't some twisted demigod out for revenge, but rather your brother, who's away at college. And there's no talk of surfaces and underworlds, but rather darkners and lighteners. It's like Undertale, but not quite. Everything is just a little mixed up. Just like the letters in the name, Deltarune is an anagram of Undertale. In short, it is all the same pieces, they're all rearranged. So what's it all mean? Well, with only Chapter 1 released of a game that, according to Toby Fox, may take up to 999 years to complete, we should probably try to figure out what the complete story of Deltarune is going to be all about, since if we don't solve it now, who knows if any of us will live to the day that it's released. And once we have a grasp on what's really happening in this struggle between Lighteners and Darkners, how does it connect to Undertale? Does it connect to Undertale at all? So working alongside Reddit user Win on the Game Theorist subreddit, I think the two of us have figured this thing out. Top to bottom, up, down, and sideways. Fun fact, by the way, Win isn't just the advanced theorist that I found on the Game Theorist subreddit, he's also the creator of Trollface. Yeah, the Trollface. So over the last couple weeks, I have been in the presence of the OG meme lord. It's pretty fascinating, actually. The internet is a surprisingly small place. Anyway, I digress. Today we start to solve Deltarune with an interpretation that I predict will be pretty controversial.
Enjoy.
But have no fear, I plan to solve it a second, likely less controversial way in a follow-up theory in just a few days. So 2, maybe even 3 theories for just this one chapter. I mean, we gotta milk this thing. Like I said, it's gonna take 999 years for it to come out, so we should probably just enjoy theorizing about it now, since it might go away and we'll never see it again. The first thing we need to address is how this game deals with...
There we go, and we're back. We're watching with you. Whoever else is here, who's still not talking to me.
Deltarune catches players off guard by having them create a character, imbue them with seemingly symbolic personality traits, and then immediately throw it all away, saying no one can choose who they are in this world. This theme of non-choice continues everywhere. In the classroom, you can't choose your project partner, you're just assigned the class bully Susie. You can't choose your dialogue options out in the hallway with Susie, with her outright telling you your choices don't matter. Then, once you two enter the dark world, Susie tells you to lead the way, and then immediately takes over. Your choice is removed. Later on in Chapter 1, you try to direct Susie in the prison hallways, and she just outright ignores you, even in battles. I mean, sure, there's a violent and non-violent way to end every confrontation and run away. And sure, the dialogue for the ending changes slightly, but the evil king still survives, and you still get back home to rip out your heart and show off your cutlery. Chris is Yuri confirmed. Now, this all could be a theme of the game, and probably is to a certain extent, that in life you do actually have to sometimes fight battles. I mean, even if you don't fight the king at the end of the chapter, the conversation about having to fight him still happens. But I don't really believe that's the only reason all this is in there. I think Toby Fox included this theme so strongly in Chapter 1 to set up the audience expectations for what Deltarune is. A normal game. It's a normal game. Remember, Toby Fox is coming off of Undertale, a game that was revolutionary in its gameplay. One that reinvented the way we see
yeah, but if he's trying to do the same thing that they are,
was built on the principle that every decision would affect the outcome in some way. Any project that Toby did next would have to contend with audience expectation carried over from Undertale. And by telling people out of the gates that, hey, this is a very different gameplay experience than the choice-based systems of Undertale,
so it's like the opposite.
Set audience
so whereas Undertale is choice, you get to choose what you want. In this game, you don't get to choose.
With himself, where he addressed some of the major questions he predicted people would have about Deltarune, in the typically vague way that game developers talk about their games.
They do that a lot. It's so annoying, actually.
Will there be multiple endings? No. No matter what you do, the ending will be the same. Honestly, most games are like that, but for some reason it feels really oppressive to say here. I think that's part of the reason why the act fight system feels so vestigial in this one, but I wanted to do it anyway because it's cool. By the way, I was really worried at first about making this. The expectations for my next work would be really high. So high that I knew that no matter what I did, I felt like people would be underwhelmed. If you played Undertale, I don't think I can make anything that makes you feel that way again. However, it's possible I can make something else. End quotes. So it feels clear, based on his own words,
that while you can there's no hidden meaning.
Aggressive strategy. We can't really say genocide since again, no one is truly dying. It's more because it's a cool gameplay style rather than something that's integral to the story he's looking to
But then what's the theory about? What are we trying to figure out?
The meat of this thing. In that same interview, Toby Fox asked and answered this question. Is this a sequel? What's going on? I'm worried if people worry too much about what it is, they might not be able to properly enjoy it. I will say that basically what you're seeing here is not the world of Undertale. To rephrase that, Deltarune's world is a different one, with different characters that have lived different lives. A whole new story will happen. With this information out in the world, it got people immediately thinking about alternate universes, and some connection to the Gaster experimentation, but I'm not sure that's quite the right angle to go here. You see, Deltarune immediately lays its cards on the table, pun not intended. Okay, so maybe slightly intended, by revealing at the end of Chapter 1 that the main plot that we just played through was all an imaginary game. It's Alice in Wonderland, it's Dorothy in Oz, or in this case, it's Susie and Chris in an abandoned classroom filled with toys. The Darkner world, with the Mad King and his son Lancer, isn't a real place. It's an imaginary game land populated by a deck of cards.
Spoiler alert!
Old stuffed cat, puzzle pieces, checkers getting king.
That's only Chapter 1 though,
hits us over the head with this revelation like a squeaky toy mallet. Oh wait, that's also a character in the Darkner world. But for further proof of the it's all imaginary angle, just look at Chris's weapon descriptions. Chris's wood sword is described as a wooden blade with a carbon-reinforced core. But if you check your inventory after returning to your hometown, suddenly you're holding a pencil, wood with carbon in the middle. The same is true with Chris's spooky sword. If that's what you have equipped when you end your journey and hop into the Dark Fountain, Chris is then left with a Halloween pencil in the real world. For even more proof, Chris's ball of accumulated junk that is also in his inventory is largely alluded to be all of the items you collected across your journey. It changes based on what's in your inventory. Attempting to throw it away will make Chris's hand shake, as though he doesn't want to give it up. Chris's internal life is clearly rich and vibrant, and he holds strong emotional attachments to it, which is why it's all the more impressive that he makes the decision to let Susie become a part of it. Susie is clearly the class bully, but she's a much deeper character than what that might imply. Throughout Chapter 1, Susie
I'm genuinely curious. I hope you guys are watching. I'm not saying much. I just want to listen to him.
After being introduced,
I don't want to talk over him too much, because then it's like taking away from what he's saying.
In the dark world, she goes on to steal a cake, munch on Lancer's salsa, demand Ralsei bake cakes for her, and raise funds to buy chocolates from the bake sale, which puts her initial reaction to the chalk moment into a new perspective. She's angry because someone just saw how poor she is. That's why she keeps her hair long. That's why her jeans are ripped. And that's why she's so mad all the time. She is actively pushing people away from her because she's ashamed of who she is. Notice that of all the houses
that's so deep.
visit during the Chapter 1 epilogue, hers isn't one of them. I predict it's because the reveal of her broken home life will be saved for a future chapter. So, we have ourselves the quiet, introverted Chris and the misunderstood bully Susie. Once they enter the abandoned classroom looking for chalk, Chris invites Susie into her imaginary world, acting as a dungeon master of sorts, using the items found around the room and in their pockets as items and characters and weapons. And this isn't a spur-of-the-moment adventure either. This classroom and the dark world created within it is a place where Chris has played often. It's a detail that's easy to overlook if you don't explore the rest of the school building, but we learn that Chris's mother, Toriel, is a teacher at the school, making it very possible that Chris would often play here. This was once her safe space, a place of creative freedom and happiness, a place where
I hope you guys are as intrigued as I am.
Asriel would play, at least until he left for college. Enter Ralsei, our third hero of light, and an anagram
Close to people. I hope someone else is watching. This is interesting.
Coincidence? You know it's not. By talking to people around the town, we get a very clear picture of the Dreamer family backstory. At some point early in his life, Chris was adopted into this family, becoming the only human in a town full of monsters. Asriel, who's slightly older, is portrayed as the town's golden boy, singing in the church choir, going to dances with Caddy, picking up chicks with burger pants. The family was happy. From talking to Father Alvin at the church and the waitress at the diner, we can piece together that they used to attend church every Sunday, followed by a breakfast, at least until Toriel and Asgore got a divorce. As the waitress in the diner says, of course, things happened and then y'all stopped coming together. But every Sunday, you and your brother'd still come in. He'd order you a hot chocolate. You must really miss him. And those words couldn't be more true. In the aftermath of the family's divorce, Asriel protected Chris, served as a loving rock of stability. But then, he left too. He went to college, leaving Chris absolutely alone. Remember,
engrossed.
Chris has to be adopted. So he's been abandoned by his birth parents, abandoned by his adopted parents, and now he's abandoned by his brother. It's why, when you drink the hot chocolate, your throat gets tight. It brings back painful memories of missing him. If Susie is a bully because she's ashamed of being poor, Chris is brooding and emotionally removed from the world around her because she feels alone and betrayed. He's shut down emotionally for his own protection. And in a figurative and literal sense, he shut the door to that room where he used to play with Asriel, which is why when it's suddenly in front of him again and he has to enter it for supplies, he's scared. That door is both literally and symbolically an entry into Chris's most private life. At this moment of him backing away is the fear of letting himself become emotionally vulnerable again, and also of letting someone else who could hurt him in again. And this isn't just speculation. Look at Ralsei. This is a character that Chris has made up as a stand-in for his brother, right? That much is pretty obvious. What isn't as obvious about this character, though, is why Chris decided to characterize his brother the way he has. Ralsei in the Dark World is young and a bit of a pushover. Chris is the leader of the group down in the Dark World, not the older brother. In fact, as Ralsei himself says, I've been waiting alone here my whole life for you two to arrive. Ralsei has no world, no history without Chris being there. Chris has created an embodiment of his brother who is incapable of leaving him. This is someone who is dependent on Chris. And why is Ralsei so young? Well, it's probably because this is the version of him that Chris wants to remember. The one that played with him in the abandoned classroom. The one that didn't abandon him and his family by going to college. After the events of Chapter 1, there are 6 days before Asriel returns home from college. And at the end of their adventure, Susie eagerly asks to return to the Dark World adventure the following day. To me, this is setting up the chapter arc of this game, with each new chapter being a new day of this imaginary game, all leading up to the climax, the return of Azrael. With the reveal that Azrael is the knight, the big bad of the Darkner world. Not the ideal Azrael that Chris has embodied in Ralsei, but the older, real-world Azrael coming home from college, one that runs the risk of shattering the Darkner world once and for all. Look at what we've established so far. Chris uses this game to work through her abandonment issues, especially as they regard her brother in the form of Ralsei. The biggest upheaval for her would be that the brother who returns home from college isn't the same as when he left. The fear that he is now a different person. Now look at what we know about the Knight. We're told that the Darkner world was at peace until the Knight came and corrupted the King of Spades, that he can create dark fountains, and that he's responsible for Jevil, the secret jester boss's fall to insanity, and eventually him being locked up. This all lines up with Azrael's role in Chris's life. In Ralsei's prophecy, he states that the fountains of darkness give this land form, and in a hidden, unused manual buried in the game's files, it confirms that the dark fountains give rise to Ralsei's body. In other words, they are the things that make this imaginary world made of real-life toys come to life, meaning that they have to be tied to either Chris or Azrael, the creators of this world, the storytellers. Now look at Jevil. All his dialogue speaks to how those outside of his prison cell are the ones who are locked up, and that he is the one who's free. He admits, however, that he's lonely, and that he wishes more people to be free with him. Shalom explains that Jevil, quote, started saying bizarre things that didn't completely make sense, but didn't completely not make sense either. Eventually, Jevil started viewing the world as a game, while everyone acting in it is its participants, which we know is actually true here. So Jevil is, in my estimation, the embodiment of Chris's imagination, her childhood spirit. I mean, think about it. The Darkners are toys who have literally been locked away when no one wanted to play with them anymore. And Jevil is literally and figuratively being kept separate from them because Chris no longer has that childish spirit to want to play with them. If Jevil is Chris's childish spirit, or imagination, then he would be free. He is the spirit of chaos and freedom and creativity and everything that childhood imagination means. And of course, he's lonely, since he's been shut to the side with no one to play with him ever since Azrael left. Until the day that Susie decides to join the game and the door gets unlocked. Even his insistence on playing a numbers game directly parallels his knowledge that this whole adventure is just a Dungeons and Dragons-esque imaginary adventure. And what was the thing that killed Chris's playful spirit in the beginning? The final thing that broke her? Azrael leaving. It killed all the joy she had, leaving her alone. She no longer wants to play, meaning that Jevil, in turn, gets locked away, kept separate from all the toys
Wait, did you press
Darkner
one?
world. But lastly, look at the Lightner prophecy. Ralsei tells us at the beginning of the game that the Lightners must destroy something called the Angel's Heaven. What? Destroying heaven made by angels. Usually those are seen as good things. It seems like it would be the opposite of what you want to do until you stop and think, where else have we seen an angel in this series before? Azrael's final form.
No, I'm asking
in
on
fact,
this machine.
the idea of Angel's Heaven might just be the thing that unlocks the connections between Undertale and Deltarune. Are they indeed two separate universes created by Gaster, as many believe, or are the connections something more, something deeper? More on that Undertale-Deltarune connection next time, since that is a whole other theory unto itself. So make sure you subscribe to see it. In fact, I challenge you to hit that subscribe bell and comment below which Deltarune character is your favorite in the next 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, haha, fooled you. Quick reminder, Game Theory merch is still available. Order it now and you'll get it in plenty of time for the holidays. It is the softest and warmest collection of hoodies, pajama pants, and hats that you could ask for. Link is gonna appear on screen right now. Make sure you click it before they're gone. Stuff is quickly selling out. I want to make sure that we're not crushing anyone's holiday hoodie dreams. And finally, most importantly of all, remember, it's all just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
$9.40. Okay. You all set?
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
There we go. That's what I was. See, I told you that's what you do. And I'll be back. Hopefully, they respond soon. Oh, whoops. Not responded yet. Well, one person was watching. I hope you guys had fun. I'm gonna sign off for now. Play some other games. So good night, everyone. Later.